We'll go ahead and get started with head coach Geoff Collins. Coach, if you could open up with a statement before we have questions about Miami.
Sure. Appreciate you guys coming out today, and we're on break, so we've moved practice back a little bit. We're glad you guys got to come in. Still building the culture, building the processes that we go through. Ken from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution today has watched Tuesday individual drills now for 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and every Tuesday we do two-line Tuesday with the DBs, and Ken was gracious enough and athletic enough to jump in today and participate in the drills. I really appreciate that. Giving of yourself for the betterment of others, buying into the culture, Ken. Some superlatives from the game, just some individual things. Jordan Mason, I know JP got over 100 yards first time in his career. Really appreciate the way he plays, the way he takes care of his business. He's developing into a really, really good player. Proud of Coach Choice and how he's brought him along and is teaching him exactly the right things to be a big-time player in this program, and good to see it pay off with obviously the help of the offensive line. And Jamin Brooks, it's no secret we played a lot of walk-ons this year in critical roles, and he played a ton for us at defensive tackle, and he's out there wearing a cast, but he's battling, and those kind of things are rewarded around here. And then on special teams, Jerry Howard, number 5. Great first touchdown, really nice to get an opening drive and go for a touchdown to start the game. JP on the wheel route out of the backfield, and but just his contribution on special teams, his unselfish attitude, the way he attacks everything, his catapult numbers on the GPS units that we wear were through the roof for the entire game. So just playing really, really hard, and then getting his time to shine and running back as well is really special. Some of the young guys throughout the week, last week getting ready to play, Christian Malloy at running back did a really nice job for us. Wesley Walker, one of our DBs, did a really nice job. And then for the 3rd straight week, the special teams developmental player of the week had to step into the game and have a big game for us, and that was Quez Jackson. I think he led the team in tackles, and after the unfortunate David Curry having to leave the game, Quez came in and played a really nice game, was covered on kickoffs as well, was just flying around making plays for us, so really proud of him. So with that, questions?
Just raise your hand, you got a microphone. Kelly?
Hey, Kelly.
Hey, Coach, I had a question about the above the line thing, and I know it's different with offensive linemen, but it seems like really other than injuries, there hasn't been any sort of subs there. Is that it? Is that just due to the nature of the position more than anything?
A little bit, but we're still developing that position. There's no secret. I think we'll see more guys play this week. That's already part of the plan, because those guys the last 2 weeks has been a steady 5 that have played the entire game and are in there battling. William Lay, the walk-on center, is in there competing really, really hard. Connor Hansen has been out all of spring, all of preseason, was out the first 4 games, and then has come in the last 2 and has played every play, and he is a really tough young man, is out there battling. And so we'll start working some more guys in, and I know we won't talk details, but if you just look out there today, you saw more guys running and playing together with multiple units. But it's still, Coach Key's doing a great job with that group. Even though it's been piecemealed a lot at times, the guys are working and trying to play a really physical brand of football.
On the same subject of the offensive line, Mike Minihan got some starts at the beginning of the year, then fell a little behind because of injury.
Sure.
Has he gotten back to the point now where he's ready to play?
We think he's close, and he was out there today getting more and more reps. So hopefully he'll be able to play significant amounts on Saturday, but that's just trying to work him back in to being healthy, because he was playing really, really well before his injury, and I think he's getting close to being back to contribute with those guys. Ken?
Yeah, could you, being at the midway point, can you comment on offense, defense, special teams, where you feel like all 3 of those are?
Well, I mean, every week we've gotten much, much better. I hate the scoreboard doesn't show it. I hate the results don't show it in the win-loss column. But you never can discount the effort that these guys are putting forward. And we've gotten better in every single phase. We just got to understand in critical moments we can't have setbacks. And the story of the game was the second quarter. Just second quarter, significant things happened to us in a negative way. We couldn't overcome them, and the score got out of hand really quickly. And then we went in, regrouped at halftime, and came back out. And to these kids' credit, and we talk about the buy-in factor, and you guys ask about it all the time. I don't think anything signifies it as much as the way they've come out every game in the second half and competed and battled regardless of the circumstances, and continue week in and week out to improve. I think I got asked this on the call-in show last night. I don't know if it was a call or if it was Andy, just how we're able to stay so positive, how we're able to stick to the process, because everything that we're asking them to do, they've never done before with our processes and how we go about our business week to week, and they are getting better every single week. Film study habits are improving, their catapult numbers are improving, their film study, their work habits, all of those things fundamentally are improving, so they're doing the right things, and they're having the right attitudes. And I know one thing, our processes work. We've won a ton of games doing it this way, and we're going to continue to teach our guys how to do it. Not doing it this way is guaranteed not to work. And conversely, being positive or being negative, us being negative is guaranteed not to work. Us being positive and building these guys up as we develop this program is guaranteed to work. So we're going to stick to our process. We're going to stick with building these guys up and recruiting at a very, very high level moving forward.
Coach, you talk about the process, and obviously one place where the process seems to be working is at Temple, where they cracked the top 25 this week. How proud are you of the players that you brought in? And I have a follow-up on that if you could.
So and I don't know if even you guys know this, when we got there the first year, they had graduated a ton of guys that had won a bunch of games and went on to the NFL. It was the youngest roster in college football. And 3 years now of us developing them, building the mindset, teaching them the process, how we do things, and then recruiting at a very high level. They're now in the top 25, and I said this a ton when I first got here, and even as we were getting ready to play them, that's an 11-win roster. And the way we developed them, the way we recruited them, coached them, so obviously very proud of them. And just, the guys that we've been able to coach. I know somebody asked me earlier about going back to Miami. Me and Coach Popovich coached at FIU in 2010 together, won a conference championship together, and those guys are special too. So.
Another guy who followed the process, also your predecessor, Matt Rule, is doing a great job at Baylor.
Sure.
Is that, following that process, do you see what he's doing there possibly as a roadmap of the vision of what you see for here?
So Matt and I are really, really close. And so I was the defense coordinator at Albright College. He was my linebackers coach for 2 years. I go to Western Carolina for 4 years as defense coordinator. He's the linebackers coach there. And then he went to Temple for 11 years, being the head coach the last 4. And I followed him there. And so a lot of the things that we believe in are the things that we do here, the things that he's doing at Baylor. And he came down and visited during spring practice to watch how we do things and to take some things back there. And just the big thing with him is, even though they struggled the first year, the things they were doing to build the foundation of that culture were the right things. And just stick to the process, stick to your beliefs, teach those to the players that you're blessed to coach, and good things are going to happen. And so that's what we're doing.
Okay.
You mentioned that did the record may doesn't necessarily reflect what's happening going forward. The last 6 games, is that going to be a reasonable barometer, or are there other ways you feel like this team?
First part I didn't hear.
Hey, I'm sorry. You said before about you wish that the record doesn't really reflect, or you said that you wish the record were better and so forth. But
Sure.
The next 6 games, is the record going to be a better barometer, or because there's other ways that you feel like this team should be
So
judged?
here's the thing that we talk about all the time. is we talk about how we play. The attention to detail, the level of effort, the level of care, the level of competitiveness that we are going to play with the standard of this college football program. And we are going to play to that level every single week. We are going to expect to play to that level. We talk to the guys all the time is we don't worry about the scoreboard, we just worry about every single play matters. And I kind of think that helped us in the second half. Don't worry about the scoreboard's going to take care of itself. Find a way, just each individual play to make a difference. And that's how we try to approach every single game. Every single play matters. Every practice that we do matters. Every walkthrough that we do matters. And eventually, when you have that mindset, it's going to pay off. It's the same mindset that Coach Saban's had at Alabama. Even the first year there, when we were there, we struggled. But the belief system and the processes that are supposed to be in place, doing it the right way, are what we're going to do. And the results are going to eventually take care of themselves through the process, through doing the things that we are going to do to be an elite program.
Coach Collins, on Saturday, first possession, long, beautiful, productive drive. At the end of the half, and then your possession, last possession, same thing in between. 5 possessions, almost nothing. Does that give you hope or drive you crazy, or both?
So a little bit of both. But we have our first meeting to recap the game, first team meeting to recap the game. I put up the second quarter. Every single thing that happened to this football team in the second quarter in detail so that we could learn from those things. We had 5 drives, 4 of them were 3 and outs. One ended with we went for it on 4th down. We did not get it, gave them a short field for a touchdown. Next drive was a 3 and out. We had a block punt for a touchdown. So as bad of a series of events that could happen to you, they happened. And then you just have to find a way to regroup and move forward. We can't do anything about what just happened to us. We have to move forward with it. And that's kind of the same thing, kind of back to Ken's question, is the 6 games are what they are. What can we learn from every game to improve on and get better so that the result is going to be a positive one? But if you don't fix the process and the reasons why you struggle or the reason why you don't have success, then it's not going to matter. So we focus on what we can control every single day. Tori?
This is kind of off the wall a little bit, but I need it for a story that I'm working on. What does your week kind of look like in regards to keeping these players in the academic standards of the institution, and what kind of does that communication look like with the players and then also with like academic staff?
Awesome. And I would love for y'all, I don't know whatever the rules are, but for you to get a glimpse of it. So what we do every single week on Thursday. So I'm a very scheduled, detailed, got probably a very severe case of OCD. But Thursday, we go out and have our Thursday practice. I come immediately in. We have Huey Magoo's Chicken Finger Thursday for the coaching staff. Kelly, there's probably 24 different sauces that we have available for the coaches. We have fried chicken tenders, we have grilled chicken tenders, we have keto chicken tenders, and then just a variance of sauces spread out on the table. It is a beautiful event that we do, and it's a tradition. We've done it, and it's really good for us. Then immediately after that, I go and watch practice with the defensive staff. The second I'm done with the defensive staff meeting, I go into an academic meeting, me, Coach Sinagra, Joe Battaglia, Scott Wallace, go in there with every member of our academic staff, and we talk about the academics of every single player on our roster. So it's Thursday at about 12:45-ish. Every single player on our roster in detail. We start with a hot list of the guys that we're concerned about. And we go through every young man that's on the roster, every class, everything that he needs. Then once we get through the hot list, then we go by position, everything they have coming up academically, every paper that they've done, every exam that they've done, what they have coming up the next week in detail. And then we do every position. Then we do every one of the walk-ons because they're highly valuable to us, obviously. Then we go to a staff meeting, and then I go around the room with every single player that needs to be helped, addressed, what they have coming up, what the concerns are, because I don't want any secrets in our organization. I want every single person that is in our staff, on our staff, whether it be recruiting, whether it be equipment, whether it be in the training room, I want them to be all in on the development of our players. I want them to be all in on the academic success for our players. And so we spend a lot of time making sure everybody understands where every player is in our program academically, because that's why we're in this thing to begin with, is for the student athlete. And so there might be just, you never know that if we go over that such and such has a huge test the following Monday, and our head equipment guy mentions that to him, hey, I know you got a big test Monday, that moves the needle. That everybody in the organization cares about my academics. Well, that must mean they really care about me, which we do. And so that's what we do, and we hold them accountable. On Sunday, every coach on our staff gets a list of every single thing his position players have to do academically that week, so they can follow up to make sure they're on top of it. I don't like procrastination in the program. We want to get ahead of everything, and we're going to do academics at a high level, because how you do anything is how you do everything. And so that's our process, and that's what we do. And their own text message threads with our awesome academic staff. So any issues or upcoming assignments, we're all over in real time, so we can help them.
One or two more for Coach.
Kevin?
I was curious about 2-point conversion. You had to throw Jordan in because James took a pretty nasty blindside hit. And I'm guessing that maybe you weren't sure if he'd be back or not, and that kind of led to that decision, or is it just next man up?
He was the next man up. He was ready to go. And just first play in, imagine being the first play in on a scoring drive, and you're the quarterback. The snap was intentionally to his right because we were rolling out to the right, and Jordan didn't adjust to go to the right. And, so he'll learn from that, and he'll get better. Interesting story. 3 weeks ago, Jordan Yates came to me and asked me if he could have a visor, one of those clear shields over his eyes. And I was like, when you play a college football game, then you can have a visor. You're not getting a visor until you play in a college football game. We're in stretch on Monday, and I long forgot about that conversation. We're in stretch on Monday, and I'm going and dapping the guys up and just kind of walking around. And Jordan looks at me, and he's like, hey, Coach, can I get that visor now, please? And I said, absolutely. He noticed him. He was wearing a visor today out of practice.
George, last one.
Yeah, what have you seen just recently in practice for James to step forward the way he has? And I know you've had injuries and you moved to bias and whatnot. Sure. And also, I'm not up on this like Ken is, because I'm right here all the time.
Okay.
I want to keep Ken in the line of questioning. But is Lucas, what's his status?
Getting close to being back. But just, I think James Graham is just developing every single day. You can see just his growth and his maturity every single day. And I don't know if you guys heard me right after we got done with stretch. I usually talk to him after stretch, and I did that today. I don't know if y'all could hear me. But the biggest point I was trying to make is the leadership point. Building up the culture, development of a player, and I referenced Dak Prescott, who I was blessed to coach for 4 years at Mississippi State, who he was as a leader, who he was as a man. This is an entitlement-free program. There was no job that was too small for Dak Prescott. Whatever it was, he was the first one in the building. He was the last one to leave. He would take responsibility for everything, even if it had nothing to do with him or being his fault. He would jump on and jump in front of it and say, Coach, that's on me. I'll get it fixed. That's on me. And I see James making those steps. I see a lot of the guys in this program making those steps, being great teammates, which is the highest honor that you can have in this program. And consequently, you'll end up being a great leader. But James, in that aspect, other than just throwing the ball and reading middle footballs, where to go through with his progressions, making good decisions with the football, all of those things matter. Being a great leader and a great teammate is something that's highly valued around here, and I've seen the steps that he's made to do that. The film study, getting in here extra with Coach Patnode, he's doing that. So just, I think, for this entire program, including but not excluding him, but James Graham is starting to develop that process so that he can be a big-time player for us.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.